Right now, you've probably checked your phone without even deciding to. Maybe you're doing it while reading this. You open an app, there's nothing new, you close it, and 30 seconds later you're back. Checking again. Same app, same empty feed. You know it's going to be empty, and you check it anyway. Nobody taught you to do that. You didn't wake up and choose it. It's automatic. Here's the strange part. That twitchy little check again reflex isn't new. It's not a phone problem. It's not even a modern problem. It's one of the oldest habits your brain runs, full stop. Older than smartphones, older than writing, older than farming, maybe older than being human at all. So the question is, why does your brain refuse to just stop looking? Where did this restless itch to check one more thing actually come from? To answer that, we have to go back. Not centuries, not even thousands of years. We have to go back to before humans existed at all, to a much older, much hungrier problem. Picture an animal in a berry bush. Doesn't matter what animal, a monkey, an early primate, anything that has to eat to survive. It's pulling berries off a branch, and at first, every handful is easy. Grab, eat, grab again. But the bush thins out. Each new handful takes longer to find than the last one. Fewer berries, more effort, more time spent digging through empty leaves. At some point, the smart move isn't to keep working that bush harder. It's to leave and go find a better one, even though the new bush is a total unknown. And this one, at least, still has a few berries left. In 1976, an ecologist named Eric Charnov turned this into actual math. He called it the Marginal Value Theorem, and it's basically a formula for one decision: stay or go. It predicts almost exactly when an animal should abandon a food patch and start searching again, the moment the effort of staying costs more than the promise of somewhere new. That's it. That's the whole ancient algorithm. Stay if it's working. Leave if it's not. Keep checking. Which, if you think about it, is exactly what you're doing with your phone. Feed's gone stale. Leave. Try a new app. Same bush, different berries. Now fast forward, still deep into prehistory, but into actual humans. Around 1.8 million years ago, an early human species called Homo erectus started doing something wild, leaving Africa. Not on a single dramatic journey either, walking generation after generation into completely unfamiliar land, further than any hominin had ever gone. Nobody handed them a map. There was no known good spot waiting for them in Georgia or India or China. Some of them likely died finding that out the hard way. They were driven by the same core instinct as that primate in the berry bush, except scaled up to an entire species, spread out over thousands of years. If the resources here are drying up, or might be better somewhere else, go look. That restlessness wasn't a flaw. It was the whole survival strategy. Here's what makes this so important. The same twitchy, can't-sit-still search instinct that makes you refresh an empty inbox is a direct descendant of the instinct that put humans on every continent on Earth. This isn't a willpower problem. It's a species-level superpower that never got an off switch. We don't have to guess what this looked like either, because a few hunter-gatherer groups still forage today, largely the same way humans have for most of our home history. Anthropologists like Frank Marlowe spent years studying the Hadza people of Tanzania, tracking exactly how they move through their landscape, hunting and gathering food day after day, season after season. And the pattern holds up almost perfectly. The Hadza don't wait until a food source is completely gone before moving on. They leave earlier than that, right around the point where searching elsewhere starts looking more promising than staying put. Same math Charnoff wrote down for berry bushes. Same decision playing out in real human lives, right now, in real time. But staying or leaving a bush is one thing. Why does it feel so compulsive? Why can't you just decide once and be done? That part comes down to brain chemistry, and we didn't actually understand it until shockingly recently. In the 1990s, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz was studying dopamine in monkeys, and he expected dopamine to spike when the monkeys got a reward. Simple hypothesis. Juice appears, dopamine fires. Reward feels good, brain says, do that again. Except that's not what happened. Once the monkeys learned a reward was coming, dopamine stopped firing at the reward itself. It fired earlier, at the moment of uncertainty, right before they knew whether they'd get anything at all. The actual juice barely registered anymore. The maybe was doing all the work. Dopamine, it turns out, isn't a reward chemical. It's a searching chemical. Think about that. Your brain isn't built to reward you for finding something good. It's built to reward you for looking. And somebody figured out how to weaponize that decades before smartphones existed. Back in the 1950s, the psychologist B.F. Skinner ran experiments where pigeons pecked a lever for food. Sometimes every peck worked. Sometimes it took 10 pecks. Sometimes one, completely at random. Totally unpredictable. And that unpredictable version, the pigeons pecked harder, faster, and longer than the ones on a reliable, predictable schedule, even though they were getting the exact same amount of food overall. Casinos figured this out fast. It's why a slot machine doesn't pay out on a schedule. It pays out just often enough, just randomly enough, to keep your hand moving back to the lever. Same berry bush, same monkey, same dopamine, just dressed up in flashing lights. Which brings us to 2006, and a designer named Asa Raskin. He invented something you've used today without thinking about it once. Infinite scroll. No page breaks, no stopping point, no natural you're done here moment, just an endless feed that always might have something better, one swipe away. Raskin later said publicly that he regretted it, that he hadn't fully realized what he was building. What he'd built, whether he meant to or not, was a perfect digital berry bush, one that never runs out. One your ancient search instinct can never actually satisfy because it's not designed to end. So, here's the full picture. 1,000,000 years ago it was leave the empty bush, walk toward the possibility of a full one. Then it became leave the continent, walk toward the possibility of a better one. Then a lab discovered your brain doesn't even wait for the reward, it fires on the hope of one. Then a psychologist figured out how to bottle that uncertainty and sell it back to us, one lever pull at a time. Then somewhere along the way, that exact wiring got copied, refined, and built directly into the app on your home screen. So next time you catch yourself refreshing a feed that has nothing new on it, that's not a lack of self-control. That's Homo erectus, still walking. That's a monkey, still checking the next branch. Your brain is running the same search it's run for 1,000,000 years. It just never got the memo that the bush isn't real anymore, that the feed doesn't run out, that there's no better patch waiting 3 swipes down. Maybe that's the real, slightly unsettling twist about being human. We didn't evolve to feel satisfied. We evolved to keep looking. Satisfaction was never really the point. Searching was. If you've ever wondered why you can't just put the thing down, now you know. It's not you. It's 1,000,000 years of instinct with a really good app designer standing behind it.